All right. Woo! That was loud, probably. I'm sorry if that was loud. The reason that was loud is because recently I have talked to you guys about the Harley Benton 12 string. It was a pretty good guitar, especially for the price. And I am very bad at shopping on Thoman's website and not looking at the great deals they have. And sometimes my eyes are drawn to something that's not just practical or cool or something I need. It's more something that I never knew I needed and something that I still don't know if I need. Let's get into that. This is the Harley Benton Nashville Custom something. You can read the title. And again, just like the M Audio Key Station or the 12 string, I couldn't find any bloody decent reviews on this puppy. Well, there's one. There's one by a guy named John, who mainly does religious songs, and that's great for you, John. And then there's one by Guitar Max or something, the guy with the long hair that stands in front of a mediocre car in his videos. I not to bash on him, but anyways, guys, he has this great classical player that comes along and that plays on this weird guitar, because that's what it is. Like, if you look at the body, it's an electric, but there's no pickups, right? So you're like, oh my god, and you follow the neck, and then what the fuck happens here? It's like a classical guitar or something. Great, you know? Also, the knobs, they're cool, man. What is kind of a bummer, and I'll go straight out say it. And if Harley Benton or Thoman, if you're watching this, brass, listen, brass, make this a hollow body, please. Because now, okay, so I got this baby plugged in, and I'll give you some playing. And then I'll get into why I think it should also be a hollow body. Now, here we go. Right, so I was just playing with my fingers there. I can give you a little bit with a guitar pick, but I started out playing guitar on a nylon string guitar. I didn't like it at the time, but now every time I do play on a nylon string guitar, I kind of feel like I'm at home or something, if that makes sense, or if that's too philosophical for you. It just gives me a nostalgic feeling of warmth and love, and you know what I mean. So let's get into some playing with the guitar pick really quick. I'll give you some bar chords here. Right, so I was just playing with the pick there, and what you can instantly hear, and this is, by the way, it is plugged in for now, and this is a DI straight into my audio interface, and I'm not running any plugins. I'm not even running a reverb. No reverbs, no plugins, no nothing. Of course, you know, the problem is, guys, there's so many freaking plugins. You can probably make this thing sound like a spaceship about to take off, right? But when I was looking into reviews for this guitar, you just want to hear what it sounds like, you know what I mean? So this is it. This is just straight up. This is how it sounds. No plugins, no nothing. So that was a little bit playing with the pick. it becomes a little bit muddy, dirty quite quickly. Which is pretty fun, because if you've ever played a classical guitar, you'll notice that if you play with a pick and you dig in, you'll actually get quite a distorted sound. So it's fun to hear that on this guitar. And that's great. However, if I want to play an electric guitar with overdrive, I pick something with 2 humbuckers and just shred on, you know? So I like it more when you... when you play with your fingers. I like that better. One of the downsides with this puppy, as I was like alluding to in the intro of this video, these holes, and I'll show you some B-roll of it, but these holes are fake. They're painted on stripes. I can play you something right now, and I will mute the guitar actually. Right. So now we'll just hear the microphone, and together we can see what we think of that sound, right? Right, so that is a pretty muted sound, and I was hoping this guitar to be just a tad louder without an amp. Simply put, I love the playability, as I said before. I love the playability of a nylon stringed instrument. Some people don't like it, some people don't like the numbness of the sound. I get that quite well. And the plugging it in just diminishes that sound. It keeps the playability, but it's quite... it becomes quite spanky because it's very sensitive, you know, an acoustic guitar plugged in. While being acoustic, and being a nylon string instrument, it usually gives you that really ease of playability, and you can just... you can just keep on playing all night long, all day long, whatever you want, and I think plugging it in diminishes that a little bit. So if the guys at Harley Benton are watching, if you could make exactly this guitar, because look at how thin this is, guys. This is a dream to play for a nylon stringed instrument. For any stringed instrument, if you're like me and you like the nylon strings, this size is just everything you ever wanted, except for the fact that you have to plug it in to get somewhat of a sound out of there. If this would be just a hollow body, slightly concaved, right? In my opinion, you'd have a killer instrument, right? And I'm not saying that it isn't now. At the price point, which is somewhere around the 250, 220, 250 euro mark, at the price point, it's a fine instrument. The tuners, the friction isn't equal on all of them. I don't expect them to be. It's a Harley Benton, you know, it's a value guitar, it's a cheaper guitar. The nut, the bridge, probably not bone. Actually, I'm fairly certain that they're not bone, because I've watched one other review that was a grumpy guy that that was pissed off about not being bone. But dude, like, it's $250, man. Like, don't expect things like that. You don't buy a Fiat and expect it to have racing seats, right? Unless it's a Abarth. But let's not get into cars. The tuners, they work. You have 2 knobsies right here for your strap. No strap lock, nothing. It does take a battery for some reason. It's probably because of the piezo pickup that's right in there, and it's probably like an active piezo pickup. That might be the reason why it's so sensitive. Then you got a cover here that's just plastic for your main wiring. You know, it's wiring for 3 switches. This one is a volume, quite self-explanatory. This one seems to be a middle, low range tone or something. And this is a high frequency tone. So like this would be a high frequency, this would be all frequencies turned down, and this would be the maximum. Maximum. So if I play this guitar, actually I want to be more on the lower side of that range, and I'll be just a little bit, just a tad higher. I'll just be somewhere around there, probably. And this again is with no reverb. If I were to use this for anything like a song or a recording, you'd probably, I don't know if you would hit it with some compression, but I would hit it with some reverb as usual. Now, one more thing I'd like to talk about, other than, you know, the build quality is pretty solid. I don't see anything, you know. Of course, it's not AAA quality. You got some things with like the binding over here, you know, it's separate binding. For this price point, you expect that, so that's definitely not a letdown. Again, I'm amazed at the thinness of this body, and that's what I think makes this guitar feel amazing. If you're an electric guitar player, you just need an acoustic for some. For like an intro in one of your songs or something, and you don't want to buy a all-out acoustic guitar because you think it feels awkward, which I wouldn't agree with. Buy an acoustic guitar. You won't regret it. It's great. But okay. Say you're the type of person that doesn't want to do that, then this resembles the electric guitar greatly. Also in the playability, the feel. Playability wise, it's probably easier to play this than an electric guitar because of the nylon strings. And then the only thing some people might have an issue with is the quite wide neck. So on traditional classical guitars, you'll notice that there's quite a wide neck. On this one, it's not too bad. Like I can grip my bar chords, the thumb over the neck style, instead of just the plain old boring way. So it's very playable. I have got medium to large size hams. But it's a very playable neck. The neck's very thin. It is a lacquered neck. The whole body is lacquered in quite a thick layer of lacquer. Yeah, it's, again, you expect something like that. It's what you expect with this price point. Now, it does make it easier to throw this guitar around because you're not as worried for scratches or any of that nonsense, which you do have on a more expensive guitar where the lacquer isn't as thick, and you're worried that if you strike your nail over it, it's gonna scratch. Well, this one won't, and if it does, it probably won't be your flagship. So you won't be crying about it, and that's really great, guys. Honestly, sometimes in a guitar you don't need something expensive, and especially something with this where it's right on that line of being a novelty item and being that wonderful guitar experiment thing you've always dreamed of. It's great that Harley Benton is able to offer this to players at this price point. In my mind, it's simply amazing. So if you're looking into getting a classical style guitar for classical style playing, I would highly recommend you to get a classical guitar that is suitable for your style playing. If you are looking for a thin body acoustic classical guitar that is suitable for classical playing, I would look into that, and I would try and find something Fender. Ibanez makes some great models for that very purpose. However, if you're like me and you like weird guitars for their uniqueness and their sheer uniqueness, their novelty value, if you're like me and you've always dreamed of owning a nylon stringed instrument that is this thin, then you need to get it, because Okay, so thank you guys for watching again, and thanks for tuning in. I'm not saying I will be doing reviews all the time. I hope, by the way, that you like the upgraded production value that we've been going for here in the channel. And if it wasn't for the support, especially on the M audio video, I wouldn't have done it. So if you like these types of videos, if you enjoy my content, and I sincerely mean this, if you enjoy my content and if you make it all the way to this part of the video, just click on that thumbs up button. It only takes you a second and it truly helps my channel grow. If you have any weird questions about this guitar or any of the other products I review or about me in general, just leave them down in the comments. If I have some minutes to spare, I will gladly answer them, depending on how weird they are, of course. And if you want to see more of my music and my covers, you can click on a playlist for covers right there. And if you would like to subscribe, you can click right there. If you would like to see some of my original songs, especially Stuck on You, I'm very proud of that one and I like it a lot. You can click on here and view a playlist of my original songs. And on that note, I will just play you out.